I'm Sir Joseph Pyeweed. I know, that Sir Joseph Pyeweed. I'm here today to introduce you to a brand new television show airing called The Just for Show Show. The show will star Ted Hajanowski. It will basically cover the life of Ted Hajanowski from 9:30 till 10 a.m. And it will include interviews with well-known local musicians, songwriters, and even some from abroad. The show will contain many artistic twists and turns. It'll be gripping, engaging, and a little ridiculously stupid. In the show, we'll learn where Ted came up with the stage name Hajanowski. We'll learn a little bit about the records, Just for Show and Always Wanting More. We'll learn a little bit about ourselves. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the first episode, which, by the way, features the man, the myth, the legend, Ryan Rudd, the producer of Just for Show, the lead singer of Frequency Collisions, as well as the rest of the band. He is the band. And an all-around okay person. With that, no further ado, I won't waste any more of your time. Enjoy.
He wasn't much to look at, but he had a heart of gold. He'd give the shirt off his back just to keep you from being cold. He didn't live perfect, but he tried to live right. He give up his pride just to end the fight.
All right, there we are. We are here with Ryan Rude, not Rudd. Rude.
No.
In
Yeah.
fact, it's Ryan. It's rude to call him Rudd.
That's true. And I had to deal with that growing up. Every first day of school, is Ryan Rudd present? Let's just get this out of the way. It's rude.
I got this every first day of school. And then I had to spend like 40 minutes. Oh, where's that name from? And all that kind of shit. And it's like, and it's funny because my poor daughter deals with the same, because now you feel like everybody's staring at you.
Yeah.
And she dealt with the same thing. So she would come home and talk about it. I'm like, oh, honey, I know.
So yours is like 10 times worse than mine. So
I don't know, because
really
sometimes I think a simple name it's worse, because it's like it's not that freaking hard or rude, you know.
Yeah.
If I had your name, I probably would be more like that, like Rude.
Ted Rude.
See, you have the perfect name for that. When somebody says it wrong, you can just say rude, because you don't know if you're correcting. Like, are you telling me what your name is, or are you calling me a jerk? And maybe both. Yeah, Ryan Rude. But you haven't changed your name legally to Frequency Collisions yet.
Not yet. No. We ran into some legal stumbling blocks with that. So apparently some guy already has that name in Saskatchewan.
He does.
Yeah. So
and he set it up like I'm the only person in the world who can use that as my legal name.
Apparently. Yeah.
Wow. So the artist formerly known as Frequency Collisions, Ryan Rudd.
Yep.
Right here. First of all, the way we know each other is through a mutual dear friend, Derek Eaton.
Yep.
We both have known him for years and years and years. How did you meet Derek?
I was actually friends and roommates with his older brother. My introduction to the Eaton family was more with Derek's older brother. Don is his older brother. Don would talk about Derek, and I don't even remember when I first met Derek.
And he dragged me out to see you play a few times in Sadie Foster. I don't know that we even ever met, or if we did, it was
yeah. That was 30 years ago.
Long time ago, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So that just happened.
Sadie Foster, yeah. So you guys had a big run for a while. And
Um,
then,
yeah, 7 years or so, I think we were together.
so from Sadie Foster, you have the Rockford Mules, which I like to call the Moscow Mules. But you have the Rockford Mules, and there was members of Sadie Foster in that.
Yeah, that was pretty much Sadie Foster with a different bass player.
So why
So
did you change the name? What?
it was a whole different kind of feel to the music. So
This is true.
Sadie Foster was kind of its own thing, and then you know how musical tastes change and influences kind of evolve over the course of time, and I think that just kind of happened with that band, and then it just kind of became what that was. And because I was always in bands where like it's more than just a band to me. It's like you have four really good friends that like hanging out
Yeah.
together, and we just happen to write music together that we all really enjoy.
Right.
And I think that's why, you know, Sadie Foster was together 7 years and the Rockford Mules almost 10 because of that. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you hang out with those guys still?
Oh yeah. 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 Craig was just on the Rabbit Hole a couple weeks ago. He was the bass player in the Rockford Mules. Yeah. He filled in for my brother. Eric, who was the singer of both of those bands, just has a solo record coming out soon that I produced.
Nice.
in my limited capacities here. So
Yeah.
So yeah,
awesome.
we all still hang out. We're all still friends. We still make music together occasionally, and not to go off on a tangent there, but
nope. This is all about you for now.
okay,
So you get a finite amount of time.
okay,
We're done with you. But you know, now you've got Frequency Collisions. You've been doing that it's been a while now, for a few years, right?
going on 6 years. I think it's been official. Like I finally got the guts up to share what I've been doing for years in my bedroom with other people. So
you've done a lot of like more ambient. I don't know the right word to use. I use that word. Like this is the kind of stuff that it's super relaxing, sonically interesting, and there's things going on that are I could never do this kind of stuff. So you mentioned you finally doing the quotes. See how I can't even get in the camera. Finally got the courage to put out the stuff I've been doing in my band. So you must have been doing this for a while before, like while still in the band, even maybe.
Oh yeah. So the whole thing started years ago, like in my 20s, when a roommate introduced me to the fine art of using a 4-track. You know, those old 4-track cassette recorders, like the Tascam, whatever it is. I still have it down here in my thing. I've always really been fascinated with just recording like your own music, you know, in the bedroom in kind of a very loose and organic way. And it just was something that kind of grabbed me and has been a passion of mine for so long. And then with the advent of technology and the quality of production you can get, it just kind of heightened that passion, and it created a rabbit hole that I still haven't found the bottom to. So
that's where the name came from, then, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
So as far as Frequency Collisions, yeah, like all of that is just bedroom recordings. I kind of like the idea of being able to go downstairs in my basement and I can start recording and capturing. And I think that's really cool that we're in a day and age that we can do that without spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, you know.
Right.
And still get quality sound, you know.
Yeah, and you do. Your stuff sounds incredible. And we'll get to that, but I mean, you talked about producing Eric's record, and you produced one of mine. And
that was
there's
fun.
just all kinds of fun stuff. I do, before we get to me, because I do want to talk about me really badly.
Yeah, I do too.
You just put out a record that's basically a compilation of all the singles you put out through 2020.
That is
which
true.
is phenomenal. People need to go listen to that. And you put out, I'm going to call it a proper single because there's 2 songs. Singles are not one song, folks. And I know I'm doing that, and it's one song, but singles are not just one song.
I didn't even know that.
Well, you think about it, buying a 45. That's a single.
That's true.
And there's always a B-side. And so you are right. Michael Gay is right because he did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We're all wrong. I'm wrong. So you put out a proper single, which is amazing, super great.
Well,
The Devil, the Doubt, and the Dead, and a cover of Alone. I like their version, but yours, it's now a Frequency Collision song.
Oh,
there's no debate.
Well, you helped sing on both of those songs, So did
That's
Andre
exactly
Lear.
why it's great.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're not lying though, because it was just kind of a thing before you and Andreana stepped in with your harmonies, and that kind of made the whole thing pop. So
I love that you're singing though. I mean, one thing when you and I started working together, it was like kind of almost like a struggle. Like, just can you sing this part? And
yeah.
like you don't want to sing. You need to sing. You have a great voice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's a cool. You bring a vibe that, and maybe it's because it's something like there are singers like I can't do that, and that's you. You just it's the way you phrase. It's so relaxed and just natural and perfect. Not that others aren't. It's just I don't know. It just works. It works really well. You need to sing more.
Well, thank you. And I guess I have to now because
Yeah.
look at the expectation you just set.
With
Now I'm screwed.
several like 4 or 5 people are gonna maybe 2. Yeah. And then beyond that, you've got the rabbit hole. I mean, this thing's like grown legs and it's taken off. It's really a cool thing.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's been really fun. And if you don't know, the Rabbit Hole is a radio station or an internet radio show that I started doing a little over a year ago. The first 9 months or so, it was just me, and it was. And then I got my brother involved, a couple months ago. So it's kind of evolved a little bit into a little more, banter and music talk and whatever else we decide to chat about. You started some stuff just a couple nights ago. My brother and I were talking about bands that we really tried to get into, but just couldn't. And my brother went off on this Beatles tangent, and
I sent a threatening text.
Yeah, if you guys are ever in the same room together, we're gonna have to keep you separated.
I don't know your brother, but if he's anything like you, because you're like me in this sense, it's all talk, and that's what I am. So I wouldn't be afraid of us being in a room together, but it would be fun to. Like, it's been a very long time since I've had a schoolyard fight. And what I mean by that is where you stand there for like an hour going, you want to go?
Come on.
You want to go? And you're just praying that the adult who watches the kids comes over and breaks it up before somebody has to throw a punch. Because I don't want to hit anybody and I don't want to get hit.
Well, it's not fun. It's not fun.
No. But that part is there's an adrenaline rush. So I would actually enjoy that with your brother. Maybe we should do that. We'll have a schoolyard fight.
Okay.
Proper like that, though. No violence.
Yeah.
No hitting about the hair and face. But now you're airing it. You've changed times. It's kind of like when Friends got bumped from like Tuesdays to Thursdays to you've changed from 10 in the morning to 10 p.m. and now you're at 9 p.m. Central
9 p.m.
Standard Time. I think it's Central Standard. Is that do we still use that kind of language?
I think so.
Or is it just Central Time? And you also have you're now what they call they use the term in the biz.
In the biz,
they use the term. What is the term? I'll cut this part out because I can't remember it. Like you're like like retelecast, like when a show goes into.
Oh yeah, I say archive. I don't know if that's
I'm thinking of the television term, like, hey, we finally got, where you get into
syndication.
You're in syndication.
I am in syndication.
I will chop this and make it look cool. So you cut all that shit out. You're in syndication now. People can watch you or listen to you. I should say listen to you at anytime they want. So you don't have to miss out, people.
That's true. You can find us on Spotify. I don't know what the URL is.
I think I can post a link, like, because my show is going to be broadcast on YouTube. That's who picked me up was YouTube. And by pick me up, I mean I have a YouTube channel. So I just put them on my YouTube channel for 30 people, or of the 30, maybe 3 will watch this, and that's okay. I love you 3. I love the other people too. I think I don't know who you are, but I'm sure I would love you if I knew you.
Just not as much as the other 3.
Yeah, so I will put a link to your syndication on Spotify.
Cool. So we're on Anchor FM too.
Anchor FM. So that's different than the Fuzz Talk?
Yeah, it's just that Anchor, I think, is kind of connected with Spotify. It's kind of similar platforms. It's just different.
I got to talk with you because I someday I'm going to get off my ass and actually do some kind of podcast thing. Kind of what I'm doing here, but this is a finite. I'm doing like 8 or 10 episodes and that's it.
I should get the audio from this because with Anchor you can record basically commercials for them, like
Oh, yeah.
So I should do this. And with Anchor FM, it's very easy to upload and start your very own podcast.
Ah.
Yeah, things like that. And they'll give you $15 or whatever.
Your voice is worth $15.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
I think so. Or whatever. I've been always more of a bartering person than giving
like a chicken. If you give me a chicken or eggs or a cup of sugar.
Yeah. I'll do X amount for you.
For me, it would be butter. I like butter.
I'll give you butter. You give me sugar.
Right. This sounds a little like we should be on late at night now. We'll talk about that later. We'll save that for when we're alone. But yeah, the rabbit hole. And you like some topics you guys have covered. You've covered you mentioned the bands that I want to love, but I just can't. Or I feel like I should love. And that's actually one of the of that. That's what I thought. It was like, man, I really feel bad that I can't like this band or this artist because everybody else does, or I'm stupid, and your brother is stupid. The Beatles, come on, that's a no-brainer.
Well, it just doesn't speak to him.
I guess I'm throwing the gauntlet down right here.
Yeah.
On non-live television. Well, you and me, Matt Rudd, because he's a Rudd.
Matt Rudd, he's a Rudd. He's not a Rude yet.
No, not if you don't like the Beatles. What the hell? But you guys have done other topics like that. You're always asking really cool questions, and from there, I think it makes it very fun and interesting.
Well, the fun thing about the show for me, anyway, is it's never really terribly scripted too much. I may map out a couple of topics we want to touch on, but pretty much we have no idea.
Versus this, where you're reading cue cards, because I sent those to you at the front in advance.
Yep, I've got them right here. I refuse to use them though.
Well, I know that.
I think that was in my contract too.
And I'm trying to fix the whole issue with makeup. I'm sorry about that. That was
look at the bags.
It doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That person has been let go, and we'll make it right. See, we made peace on the radio. I can do that with Ryan Rude. Boom. Can't do that with Matt Rudd.
Nope. He's more of a bulldog.
He's a douche. He's just. I've never even met your brother. I'm sure he's the nicest guy in the world.
He's a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
And this isn't a real feud, ladies and gentlemen. No one's going because of the Beatles. Let's just get that out of the way right now.
Speak for yourself.
Okay.
Enough about you. Let's talk about me.
Okay.
But in a way, it's not, because there's a lot. When I talk about me here, you're so heavily involved. I'm putting out 2 records, one of which you produced. You produced it. You were intimately involved in the whole thing, from playing on it to suggestions to the mix, mastering. You were the one who made all of my shitty tracks sound good.
Yeah.
It wasn't much to look at, but it had a heart of...
And that was a lot of work, I'm very sure.
Yeah, but it was fun work. It was a very fun project to work on. Just to clarify, I mixed. So I didn't track it for you. I mixed it, though.
That's true. You did your own tracking, though. You played on this thing.
Yes, that's true.
So then you're wrong. You did track it.
Yeah. All right, fine. I tracked it.
Yeah. I put your name on as producer because I thought it would make me look cooler.
Okay. I mean,
do you think it worked? Do you think it worked? Am I cooler?
Yeah.
Now? Okay.
I totally think it worked.
Just for show, you are. I mean, you helped shape the sound, and then the other record, Always Wanted More. You'll hear like this stark difference, because I think I use way too much reverb on my voice and those kind of things, where yours sounds nice and clean. Mine sounds like a demo, but it's cool. It's an interesting mix, and you actually helped me. Well, number one, you had to sit through an hour of listening to that garbage, and so I'm really appreciative of what you've done. It's been a super fun way to kind of hand my songs over to someone else. I'd like to learn how to do that more, if you will, like go into the true producer realm, if you will, like where, hey, here's the songs, let's form them into what they might turn out like, and who do we need to play, and all that kind of jazz, or arrangements. So we'll do that.
It was interesting working on your record as opposed to like the Frequency Collision stuff, because I know how to record my stuff,
Yeah.
So mixing your record was kind of new for me. It was interesting because you get to kind of step inside the songs from an outside perspective and kind of see, okay, what kind of vibe is this thing asking for?
Yeah.
And I'm a very much like listening to what the song will tell you what it wants, you know, kind of thing.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I kind of kept it as clean and as pure as it and straightforward as it kind of wanted it to be, I guess, as opposed to all spacey and you know, wandering.
It is that kind of record where I wanted like the songs all ended like I didn't use drums at all on those songs. I was trying to go from as more of a pure folky type thing. I don't even know if that's the proper definition, but and it worked really well.
I thought so. I'm happy with it. It was a fun record to work on, especially with all the contributing parts to it. You know, you had a lot of people guest spot on there, and
Sarah sang all over it. Jillian Ray played some. The thing with like Ren songs, we chatted about that, and she was studying what the bird sounds like and trying to do interesting things with her violin. So that's why you get all these cool sonic landscape that she put together for that. It was incredible. And Toby Wilson, he's from England. He and I did one of these chats. It's the first time we've ever talked. I've never met him in person at all, and he's played pedal steel on several things. It's just cool to have all these interesting. Steve Kelzer just throwing a piano thing down. Everybody changes my song, which is incredible to hear.
And it was amazing how it all worked together.
And then you had to mix like a crap ton of like all the gang vocal stuff where I'm glad you mixed that, not me. That was tough.
That was fun.
Well, I mean, I did mixes of every song because I just tend to do that. That's how I record. When I'm recording something, I dump them and mix them and go for walks and listen to them over and over. And by the time the record's out, I'm so tired of it because I've heard it so much, right?
Yeah.
But I would do these mixes, and I remember doing those gang vocals, and everything was either buried and you just created space where you can actually hear their voices, but it doesn't like overwhelm the song, which is awesome. You did good.
Oh, well, thank you.
Ryan Root, Frequency Collisions. You need somebody to mix your record, he'll do it for you, and he'll command high buck, but it'll be worth it. Right.
Or I'll do it for a bottle of Grand Marinara. So.
It is delish.
It is. It's too delicious because it goes down a little too easy.
Dangerous.
So you can get into some trouble.
Yep. You need to make sure you eat and hydrate and rotate.
Yes.
That's my advice to you. And then the rest, just forgive yourself. Frequency Collisions. You and I have done some collaborations. We put out 3 songs. I think we're talking about making a record. I've worked out a few of your other songs. So basically, you and I have done this really cool thing where you will give me music, and then I'm just going to write over it.
Yep.
And so I would write a vocal melody and lyrics over it. And a lot of these songs, you basically have a completed song from an instrumental perspective. You don't even need vocals on it, but I'll put something over that, and it's been really fun for me, and I'm excited I want to keep doing that thing. I know I want you to sing, but I do like the idea of doing a lot more collaboration like that.
Absolutely.
And probably pull in other people too where it works. I know Adriana has done that as well, and in fact, I Might Remember is incredible. And if you haven't, and I will dovetail into that, but if you haven't bought the Quarantine Dream record to hear that song and so many other great ones, what is wrong with you? I mean, we've been talking about it now for months. Come on, people.
Right, get your act together.
Get it, come on. Well, I'll put a link to that as well. If you don't know what that is, it'll explain all of it. It's just a wonderful thing. In fact, maybe you should talk a little bit about that because this was all your idea.
It may have been my idea, but I will always defer to the fact that it doesn't go anywhere without your help. So you're just going to have to live with that.
I just said, I think we both got things moving, and others did too. That record is not made and not completed without everybody who was involved. It's great.
Yeah.
But tell everybody a little bit about that.
So the Quarantine Dream record kind of came to about right as everybody went to quarantine, back in like March? Is that March already?
I think so, yeah.
Somewhere in there where we really had to shelter in place and all those buzzwords that were thrown at us. Many of our friends and colleagues, Ted, were kind of immediately without work, and I'm talking about working musicians that actually that's their job. They can't do shows, and if you can't do shows, you don't make any money.
Right.
So I thought it would be fun to try to figure out a way to make this record of a bunch of collaborations of different musicians over the World Wide Web. So, we're not in the same room writing a song where, like you and I do. I have an idea, I send it to somebody else, they throw their ideas on top of it, and
Right.
sooner or later you have a song or whatever.
In fact, I was probably the first, at least the first, maybe one of the only, I don't know. I was one of the first to respond. You put a call out, like,
Yeah.
news team assemble, and I said, yeah, I'll do this. Why not?
Yep.
And we wrote a song.
And we wrote a song, and we're like, hey, what if we brought some other musicians in, and they did the same thing, and we get a record, and then we sell it and try to raise money for someone. Like, my initial thought was like, let's help out some musician or find a way to raise money to help somebody's life easier while they can't make a living. And then we heard about Jessa, from Gambler's Daughter. And for those of you that don't know, right as we were going into quarantine, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. So it was kind of like, well, there it is. That's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to help Jess out a little bit with her medical bills and things like that. And multiple people came on board. I think you put the count somewhere around 40.
Oh man, like 46 or something like
46 people that touched this project by the time it was said and done. So what was really just a crazy idea, and you were instrumental because you have contacts that I don't have because I'm absolutely horrible at self-promotion. So I'm just
So you're saying I talk about myself too much is what you're saying.
You just know a lot more people than I do.
I don't know about that. I think really what it was is you threw an idea and I went yes, and things just started to snowball. You know, momentum will come when somebody else is on board, and then we had Tim Cheesebrow came in and he helped with a lot of great ideas. That guy's an idea man, and so he threw some things at us, and then we started working
the artwork too.
He did. It's just incredible. Started working with Ellen, and she helped us get a lot of promotion, and we raised some money for Jessa. And I mean, considering what her expenses are as a drop in the bucket, but it's something, and I think that meant a lot to her. And we still do. I mean, yesterday, by the time this airs, it won't be yesterday, but Bandcamp Friday, I think we sold a copy.
Good. I was pretty proud of that. I think it turned out really well.
Yeah.
And I think it was a good, I don't know, just a good, nothing bad happened during that whole process. It was just all positive, and it was a really fun thing to be a part of. So
super great. And then it's kind of now we've got this thing, and you came up with the name Quarantine Dream. And then you came up with the name, the Supper Club Collective. Let's talk a little bit about that, because this thing is just kind of starting to take action.
So I'm going to back up to the radio show real quick, The Rabbit Hole.
Yeah.
When my brother came aboard, we kind of thought it would be fun to implement a dress code in The Rabbit Hole, which if you think about it, a dress code for radio is it's absurd. But that's kind of how he and I.
They're so perfect. I mean, that kind of thing just speaks to me in so many. That's my love language. Stupidity. Stupidity is my love language. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and we're kind of goofy like that. Like, we just do ridiculous things that don't always make sense, but we do it because it's fun. So we thought it would be fun to implement a dress code, and this might get long. Is that okay?
No, don't worry. I'll cut it all out. So just talk.
All right. So. Him and I spent a lot of time growing up in northern Minnesota, like close to the Canadian border, northwest corner, in this town called Greenbush, which is where our dad is from, where our grandparents lived. Okay. And Greenbush had a supper club, okay? And it's a town of 700 people, probably less by now, but around that time, 700 people. Very small town, northern Minnesota, right? And the supper clubs up there had the prepackaged, like, breadsticks and the single serving butter and, that kind of thing. Salad bar, all that kind of stuff. So we're like, well, what if we got to have a supper code on before we do the show here?
Yeah.
The Supper Club Collective kind of spawned from that idea, just kind of like an old school gathering place for like-minded folks to collaborate, to meet, to hang out, share ideas, promote their stuff, kind of an umbrella of like-minded people where you can go, and like if somebody is looking for Ted's music and they find themselves at the Supper Club Collective, they can find my music, they can find Chris Holmes' music, they can find whoever else wants to get involved, So we haven't quite figured out the details on what that exactly means, but you and I and Chris Holmes have a business meeting coming up soon.
We do.
We'll hash
We're
out
going to talk about some heavy things. I mean, one thing in some of the kind of unwritten, I don't know if it's a rule because nobody's obligated to this, but music releases, and I don't know if you remember this. Remember, new albums used to come out on Tuesdays. That was the day that new albums came out. Then they switched it to Friday.
Yep.
And it's like, and even I'm an independent artist, and I would release my music on the day that release day is. And even like if you go to Spotify, they have release Friday. And we're like, screw it, we're doing it on Monday.
We're doing New Music Monday.
And we're actually making you're welcome Monday, because Monday gets a bad rap, and it's not a bad day. It's a great day.
It doesn't
should be
have
excited.
to be bad. Yeah.
No. And so we're helping you out. We're helping you out, the people, and we're helping Monday out. And we're actually bringing peace through this. I don't know if you knew that, how heavy this is.
Peacemakers.
We're peacemakers.
Well, that's the burden we shoulder.
Joyfully. So we have the Monday thing. We have a couple of projects kind of underway or pseudo underway. Chris has been running with. I mean, Chris is just like he just gets shit done. It's really cool how he did that. In fact, I've not met him in person.
Really?
We wrote together. He and I wrote "Love and Easy" together. And then you actually helped it. I think you mastered "And We Row" was another one we collaborated on.
Yep.
But he and I collaborated on "Quarantine Dream" on a song. December 2012, I think is the title. And the only reason why that's the title is that was the name of my riff. I sent him a bunch of riffs like I did you, and he liked that one. And I was like, well, what are we going to call it? So we just kept that as the title. Anyway, he started, he got super involved, and then his sister, Jamie, right around the time we were doing Quarantine Dream, she was diagnosed with cancer. So he's actually actively working on a project for her where we're covering her songs, which we did. We did one together. Mm-hmm. But he's running, and then he starts throwing out like this idea of like, why don't we cover each other's songs? And which every local musician has probably thought that, but nobody ever takes initiative. And he just got the ball rolling, and I think that's incredible. And we just co-opted it, really, the Supper Club Collective. And
we just kind of rode his coattails on that one. It was like,
exactly.
Hey. It was. I think it's going to be a good first project for us.
Yes. I think it'll be super fun. And we've got other special things kind of in the works in the background that I don't want to talk about publicly because somebody will steal our idea. It's kind of like when you're going to have a baby, you don't tell everybody the name because some other asshole takes the name. Like, that's not cool. So we're not telling you. I don't trust you. I love you, 3 people, and I don't trust you as far as I can throw you.
No, you can't in this day and age.
No. Supper Club Collective. Keep your eye to the ground for that.
We'll have a massive launch party, I'm sure, when it goes.
We will.
When it goes live, as they say in the biz.
Right. When it drops, is that still a thing? When it drops,
I think so. Yeah.
I have no idea. I still say groovy, hip.
Groovy.
You know what I get?
Awesome a lot. Awesome. It's awesome.
What is it? I'm not even gonna remember it. My memory is so bad. Like hip. Trip and hendy is what I say all the time because I get screwed up. I want to say hip and trendy. I say trip and hendy, and that's how I'm so uncool that I can't even say no longer cool words properly. Trip and hendy. Yeah.
Unless that catches on, and then you're a trendsetter. Then you're
then I'm trip and hendy.
Yeah. What do they say you're an influencer? Then you're an influencer.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yeah. It is now.
I think it's cool, and it's not cool because a lot of people will pay attention. I think we're like-minded in this, and that we don't give a shit. We're just gonna do it and enjoy it, and so the beautiful thing is, like, if you read any of like the big stars and the things that they do, and I always go back to like Willie Nelson, for example. He makes the music he wants to make because he's just going to make it. Country star, I'm going to make a jazz standards album. He's putting out another album of songs that Frank Sinatra made big, or they were Frank hits, and so he'll just do whatever. He'll cover other people, collaborate, make way too much music for what is supposed to be industry standard, where you're supposed to put an album out every 3 years or some dumbass stuff like that. And he can do that. And so the fact that we think like that, because we don't have the pressure they have, so why would we not do that instead of try to fit? It's weird when a small artist like us would try to fit the mold that we don't have to.
Yeah. I
do think it's important that we as artists continue to create and enjoy that process and bring others along.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's the one of the positive things that's come out of the whole pandemic thing.
Yeah.
For me, anyways, personally, is just kind of how the oak tree of connection happened.
Yeah, and it's probably something people wouldn't have had time for before, just because
absolutely.
other things. And I don't have to leave my house, and I could wear my jammies all day. That's so great. Yeah. I'm going to cut to some important questions because people need to know these things.
Hard-hitting questions.
Yeah, hard-hitting questions. First one, favorite song of all time. What's your favorite song of all time?
My favorite all-time song. God, that's good. The first one that comes to mind is my Morning Song by the Black Crowes off of their
and that was
Southern
actually
Harmony.
that was actually a test.
Yeah.
And the reason why is I think you were asked that question by someone else, and you said the same thing. So I know you're honest.
I'm
can trust you.
consistent.
I can trust you.
I love that song. It's going to be it's going to be the headliner at my funeral.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine is going to be the 1 hour long version of Baby Shark.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. That's my theme. I mean, whenever somebody asks for a song suggestion, I post Baby Shark, and it's for good reason.
I'll have to dip out of your funeral. Yeah, well, I want to send people out on a high note.
Dip out of my funeral. Okay, here's another important question.
Hit me.
Let's say we've been talking about death and getting into heavy topics. So let's say you died, Ryan, and you came back as a Rocky movie. Which one would it be, and why?
God. Died and come back as a Rocky movie.
Yeah.
My first thing that came to mind was Rocky 3.
Rocky 3, sure. And why?
Well, if you're going to die and come back, you're going to have to relearn some things. Rocky, Apollo taught him how to be a whole different kind of fighter.
He did. Because
he had to beat Clubber Lang. He couldn't go toe to toe with sheer muscle anymore. He had to finesse. Right. And I think if you subscribe to the whole reincarnation vibe, isn't it kind of steps like that? If
you move up.
Whatever.
I don't know that. I'm not sure if that's always true. Like someone like me probably could move down.
Well, that's true. De-evolve. But I mean,
I would not come back as a Rocky movie. I would come back as a Karate Kid movie, which is not bad, but it's like it's.
Well,
not,
they're kind of the same thing. The Karate Kid doesn't have
Kid. Maybe here, but Rocky is definitely.
Rocky is the greatest movie franchise of all time. Let's get that
100% agree with you. Yeah.
It's the greatest love story ever told.
Not a debate. Not a debate.
So
Rocky
in that
3, though, yeah.
I would go Rocky 3 because he had to completely deconstruct Rocky and build him back up from the ground up. And like I said, from a reincarnation, whatever lessons you don't learn in this one, you got to come back and you got to learn those ones before you move on, right?
Yeah.
So.
Right. That's very, very deep. Whew, that's interesting. So let's just say, though, because we did talk about how you're coming back, and sometimes you might come back as something that lesser for whatever reason. If you subscribe to the karma thing, let's say we talked about Rocky characters, and of course, Rocky would be the character, or Mickey. Or Adrian. Yeah. Honestly, Adrian was brave and strong. And she gets less credit than she should. But let's just say, let's say you came back as Tommy Gunn. Would you be terribly disappointed?
Oh, yeah.
The guy got a bad rap. I mean, he was in the shadow of this big star. He was never going to be Rocky.
No.
The poor guy just kind of got used and abused and shit on. And even Rocky didn't mean to. It wasn't his fault, but that's going to happen.
He didn't handle it well.
I don't know that I would either. I mean, let's be honest. I'm going to defend
responsibility.
He did, but I don't know how I would handle that. That's a tough shake.
It is, but we play the hand we're dealt. So
that is true.
What are you going to do?
Syrup on spaghetti? Yes or no?
That's a hard no.
Are you sure? Have you tried it?
I have not tried it.
So how are you answering hard no when you haven't even tried it?
It doesn't.
You're unwilling to bend. You're unwilling to experiment. Are you that afraid of syrup?
Well, now that you kind of issued as a character challenge to me, I will try it.
That's not an attack on your character. I say this because I love you and I want you. I'm looking out for you. I want what's good for you, and I'm not suggesting that syrup on spaghetti is good because I've never tried it.
You've never tried it?
No, and so I'm not defending it. It's more of the fact that you need to try it. It's for your own good, even if it turns out poorly.
Okay. That's fair.
Buddy loved it, and so I
That's
trust
true.
him. I mean, I respect your opinion, but I don't know that you could give an opinion without really knowing the answer.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I shouldn't have given a hard no without actually trying it.
Yeah. So I will accept your apology when you are ready to apologize and mean it.
Okay. And I can't answer that question, I guess, either until I do try it. So we'll have to.
Well, I'll wait. I'll wait.
Yeah, I'll just run upstairs and cook up some spaghetti real quick.
No, I'm talking about the apology now. I'll wait. You just take your time when you're ready.
He wasn't much to look at, but he had a heart of gold.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I apologize. I don't believe you. Try it again.
I apologize. I'm sorry that I offended you. If I live 1,000 lives, I don't know if I can quell the mountain of shame that has built upon my shoulders and is weighing down my heart and my soul. I cannot breathe. Eyesight is blurry with shame and humility, and I humbly bow to a knee and ask for your forgiveness.
Wow, that's deep. Okay, serious. One last question. Seriously though, what is so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Why is it funny? I don't get the joke. Can you explain that one to me?
Peace, love, and understanding. What's so funny about it?
Yeah.
What's so funny about?
I'm missing out. Clearly, I'm missing out because I've missed a lot of things. I'm not. But what is so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
Well, it depends on if you're coming from an optimist or a pessimist point of view.
Oh.
If you're coming from a pessimistic, what's so funny about it is its complete unattainability.
That's hilarious. I never thought about that. That's so funny. It's and depressing.
Yeah. If you're coming from an optimist point of view, peace, a lot of fun when it's peaceful.
Oh,
it's tranquil.
Yes.
Love
Guffaws.
can be fun.
Belly laughs.
Belly laughs.
Yeah.
Love can be fun. Understanding, what's more fun than being understood? It's a good time.
You are very wise, Ryan Rude.
It's a good time.
You are very wise. Frequency collisions.
Well, I got the gray in my beard to prove it. So
FC. Can I call you FC?
Yes, please do.
Or fuck. Does that work? Is it?
Well, it depends on how you pronounce your C. Is it a C?
Oh, like it could be.
It could be like cereal. So it could be.
Sounds like air being let out of a tire.
Well,
yeah. There's a lot of what your music reminds me of, but that's I mean that in a good way because I love that sound. It's very comforting to me. Yeah. This has been incredible, and I thank you for doing this, Ryan. This has been a lot of fun. Ryan Rude, Frequency Collisions, The Rabbit Hole, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
Bet. And see, I'm doing this because I'm going to end it, but I'm going to keep this in because I like to not edit stupid shit. I'm keeping it.
And with that, we have finished our first episode. I hope that you were as engaged as I was. So what happens next week? Will Ted learn how to pronounce his name properly? Will Ryan ever talk to Ted again? Will there be another guest? Will there be another show? Tune in next time. Same YouTube time, same YouTube channel. The Just for Show show.
1, 2, 3, 4. He wasn't much to look at, but he had a heart of gold. He'd give the shirt off his back just to keep you from being cold.